There's a lot of teenage pregnancy in the country, and especially in Homa Bay where I am. So I'm working with the adolescent girls first, giving information to them on their sexual reproductive health and rights. Because we do not yet have that kind of forum in schools. That has been fighting for quite some time. So looking for different modalities to pass that information when possible. That is age-appropriate information for them. Just to enlighten them on their sexuality. Two, I'm also working with their parents and the community at large so that the rights of the adolescent girls can be respected and they can be given a space, a conducive space where to live in. But also empowered from that level of the community. Because empowerment is not something you do once, it's not something you do twice, it's not a one-off meeting. Empowerment is a process. So when a child has been disempowered from a small age, you cannot do a one-off or a two-off training and say you're empowering that child. You have to be able to change the mindset of how they look at issues around gender, how they handle the girl child. And that is what I'm trying to address now from that level of the community, so that they're able to look at the girl child as a whole, not as the house help in their home, not as one who dresses indecently, not as this indisciplined girl, but to look at her as a whole and also to give her opportunity. Because you find very basic things that sometimes stop the girl from going to school, like not having a pad. So if she doesn't have a pad, then she's afraid to go because she's going to stay in her dress. That means she has like 4 or 5 days off, she's not going to school. Then once that happens, the shaming in school and the fact that sometimes she wants to go to school and now she finds herself in a position where somebody wants sex in exchange for that. So they find themselves pregnant. There are issues around incest. In the community there is around defilement. So basically we're trying to address that. My major issue is to remove the disempowerment from the girl. That those kind of things can happen but they cannot voice it. So how does it happen that it can be voiced? We have legal procedures in the country that are not being followed because even the parents sometimes are disempowered, they do not know that there are legal processes that can be followed. So also to bring back up that there are laws that can protect the girl child, but there are procedures that you need to follow. So it's the whole community, but basing on the girl child. One thing is just the recognition, because the kind of work we've been doing since we got to know our sectors, the community issues on treatment, issues around advocacy, issues on empowerment, issues on rights, just the recognition of that work. So for me, the Fears Award was not just for Patricia. It was for these women who I work with, because sometimes you cannot achieve what we achieve all by yourself. You've just heard what Maureen said, that we had a case in court and we were 3. But due to fear, other people, Maureen and the other one, their names could not be put there. But it was Patricia Asero and 2 others. Making sure that I can give the woman who is voiceless somewhere the opportunity to have access, to fight it on her behalf. But I had them at the back. They were the support that I needed. When we went to court, they were there every single time. And it took years. So I was not alone. There were lawyers. There were people who were doing the media work. So it was a collective of all of us. So by me getting that award, I carry everything. That it is not Patricia's, it is us, it's for the work. Just identifying that we are doing something for our community. That was vital, and my community felt that that was important, that it was time. In fact, they were saying, Patricia, it is time that you got some recognition for the work. Yes. But how I hope that the Fears Award can come with a fund in it, so that the people who will win it in the coming years are able to carry out specific interventions that are geared towards the goal of the campaign. How I wish that is possible. Yeah, because some of us are lucky. There are things we are doing that can be able to incorporate our winning into the work that we still carry out every day. One thing that I've just brought up that maybe we did not touch is the disempowerment. Girls are disempowered. Okay? Like you find a girl who is like 20 years, she does not have a national ID. In Kenya, if you don't have a national ID, you can own a phone, but the line is not in your name. That means if you're going to get an M-Pesa, then you have to use somebody else's ID. If I'm holding a training, and my training is based on the fact that if I'm giving you a reimbursement, then you need to give me your phone number, and your phone number has to be your name. That means you will not be reimbursed. You'll have to use somebody else's name. So that already you are disempowered. So mine is to start from that level. You know, empowerment is not a one-size-fits-all. It depends on where do you get that girl? Where are they at that particular time? What do they know? What do they need to step up? So taking them from where they are to step them up, you get them from that level. Where is it education? Do we encourage that they go back to school even when they're HIV positive? That it's okay to go to school, that it's possible to achieve even with your status. But even when you have that status, it's your right to have an identification card. Yeah, it's your right to have a birth certificate. It's your right to have a passport. Yeah? Then you don't need to wait there to be invited into some spaces. For me, I'm training girls that there are some spaces that you need to go into. If you seek to be invited, maybe that space they only want one person. Because maybe of issues of per diem and reimbursement. But if it's possible, can they be able to come into that space? And when I go with them into those spaces, I follow up. Because I've realized that there's a lot of laxity among the youth that are coming up. You go with them to somewhere, maybe to a meeting like this, but they're outside very busy taking selfies. So it's just like this, just like that. So things like what is being discussed within that same meeting, they are not there. So when I'm with them, whether it's in the global fund process, I just follow up and say, are you getting what we are discussing? Is there anything you want me to push for you? Because you have to be able to articulate your issues here. What you don't understand, I'll back it up. So like this whole year from last, when we started the global fund process, there are a few of the girls who I was with in the process. Just working with them. When they are so scared of the government people, I say, no, these are just human beings. You bring what you bring, they bring what they bring, and together we are partners in the fight. So what you think is vital for the girls, bring it. When you're pushing and you're feeling they're pushing back, let us in. That is why we're here. So we cannot, just to make them understand that we are not fighting. For this position, we are not fighting, we are complementing each other. Because if they are their space and they're young and somebody is taking advantage of that and I'm around, you can't do that. Yeah, say those girls have a right to sit here, they have a right to voice. Maybe they don't know how to place their issues, but this is what they want. How do we craft it so that it makes sense? So for me, that is what I try to do, to mold them, sometimes very raw, depending on what happens. Because if I came with you to a meeting and you're out taking selfies, then how do I say that is not mentorship? When I allow you to take selfie when you're supposed to be here, listening to what I'm challenging some of them. So I follow up on that, just to make sure that they have it. Then after that also to debrief what is working, what is not working, how do you want us to move on, and to follow through. Because sometimes we do 1 or 2 or 3 meetings and we say, I've mentored those ones. Which ones have you mentored? You saw them 1, you saw them twice, you saw them thrice. That's not enough. We need to follow through at different levels. Because sometimes they'll go to a place and they get a barrier and they just back off. Yeah? Like my little Laura. Yeah? Sometimes they just back off because of what they've done, what they have received, so that they need that support, continuous support. What I've kind of realized of late is that the clinicians who are working in the health facilities, who are giving services, don't handle as wholly. You know, they handle a very superficial component called antiretroviral. That is what they handle, and that's it. They don't look at us the way we would go to a facility and the clinician would look at you as a person. Like, how are you doing today? They would be able to examine you They're able to ask you questions. They're able to give you the opportunity to ask questions and to give you answers. What is possible? They tell you this one is not possible. Can we refer you? We don't have this service. Can we link you? So those are some of the things that I think it's vital. And for women, our sexual reproductive health agenda is not being addressed only. Very superficially, sometimes you go, yeah, we can give you contraceptives, that is it all. For some of us don't need contraceptives. We need hormonal therapy, we are getting to understand. We need medication to help us so that we are not getting fractures. Some of that we are told comes from having menopause issues. Some of them is from medicine, and some of them is from age. And listening to the presentations here, some of these things can be managed. But we go to the facility every time, and you present those issues, but nobody does anything about it. Sometimes we are the one demanding, and then those services are also not provided. At the match, sometimes they can do is maybe give a prescription, and that's it. So I think that maybe quite a number of things is lacking. They need to reorganize how they do things. For example, a workshop like this one, network of women living with HIV should have been part of the organized